Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to be doubling up the Jazz Club modular building. So of course we've got a fresh Jazz Club here, and we're going to use all the parts from it to help double up our Jazz Club in the city. I am excited about this. Here we go. Now we've just got to sort all of these pieces by part type, just like we always do, into our almond trays and acrylic containers, and then that should make it pretty easy to find the parts that we're looking for as we double it up. Boom. Yeah, here's all the parts. Not too bad. We got all our slopes and bricks together, all the minifigs and minifig accessories, big bin of tiles, which is nice, all sorts of plates. There's all the larger bricks, and then we've got the original Jazz Club right over here. So the math has been worked out. The Jazz Club is going to get an expansion of 10 studs because these windows are going to get duplicated, and then you also need the dark azure beam between those windows, and that's going to happen on either side. So you got 4 studs plus 1, that's 5. 5 on either side gives 10 studs. So this used to be 20 studs, now it's going to be 30 studs, and that leaves 18 studs for the pizzeria. So what I've done is created a basic layout here. So this is going to be the Jazz Club at 30 studs. This is going to be the pizzeria at 18 studs. And it also makes sense for the second and third floor, because an addition of another set of these windows on either side will once again be 5 studs there and 5 studs there. And then essentially we'll just blow that up so it's a little bit bigger on either side. The center is going to stay the same. I don't really want to mess with that design because it looks really good. You wouldn't really be able to expand that, so the center's got to stay the same, but you can grow it on either side. Now I wanted to take this video clip because the next thing I need to do is essentially start parting out the original, because it's going to be easier for me to pull some of these walls off and these windows, and I need them because there's not enough in the single set that I just parted out. So yeah, I need to start destroying this and also start transferring the tiles, get all the tile work done in the interior. I want to try to keep it as close to the original as possible, like some of the fun features such as the walkthrough from the pizzeria. Like, I know that's not really authentic, but I think it's what makes this Lego set fun. And also I've decided that I'm not going to expand the washroom just because I don't want to use the additional space that was created in the Jazz Club and the pizzeria to expand the washroom. That just doesn't sound fun to me at all. So I'm going to keep the original design of the staircase being underneath the washroom, and it's going to be the center, and it's going to service both buildings. And it is on one solid 48 by 32 mils plate. Decided just to keep it as one big chunk. So rather than making it 2 base plates, which would actually be doubling it, only going to make it 1.5, which is going to save room in the Lego City. And honestly, I don't think these 2 structures need to be any larger than that. And the math works out to make it, once again, 30 studs and 18 studs. First floor is done, went super smoothly. I'll show you in a sec, but now I'm starting surgery on the second floor, and this one's proving to be a little bit difficult just because the balcony looking down on the stage, the staircase hole, essentially had to be like split in the middle, so pretty much completely rebuilt. So here we have the ground floor of the, I'm not going to call it double Jazz Club because it's actually 1.5. Once again, it is 48 studs. So the pizzeria is 18 studs. So there's actually an additional set of windows there, an additional pillar as well. And then it has the same matching awning going over top. So there's been a third one that's been added to the set. And this table, there used to be like out here, which is sort of weird. So brought it inside and actually added a second table there, and it's on the checkered pattern using the dark gray and dark tan tiles, and then pretty much everything else is the same there. So for this building, it has been extended from 20 to 30 studs. Once again, you can look in, or you can't look in here because that's a bathroom, so I decided to keep that with the original design, but I did add an additional set of windows on this side and this side of the entrance. It just sort of made sense. The Lego math worked out perfectly to convert this building from 1 base plate to 1.5. So inside here, like you can go in this door, it's the same as the original. You can take the stairs up, and then inside there is a tiny, tiny washroom. I am not the largest fan of washrooms, so I decided to keep the washroom the same size, because if I'm going to expand this building, why would I add an addition to the washroom? It doesn't really make sense. So I decided to add a bar instead, a little triangular shaped bar there, and just a little shelf that's embedded right into the wall behind that. The tile pattern on the floor is the same, using the tan and dark tan. Just really liked it. May as well keep that the same, right? Look pretty fresh. The stage is much larger. It's pretty much doubled. So just had to change the position of the curtain and extend that 3 additional studs. And then I just pretty much kept the same stage design, but added a keyboard and also the large like base there. Built a little stand for that, and then tiled it all just like the original set. So just tiled it off nicely with all those odd shaped tiles. And then there's 3 tables and a total of 6 chairs. And then in here we have the pizzeria. There was a little bit of room there that could be added. For example, this countertop has been extended by 2 studs. And on the additional 2 studs, we've got cherries, but those are actually tomatoes, and also some cheese. And then there is a little table that was added as well, just right there. It's got some pizza on it. So the interior is pretty similar. I love the fact that it's all tiled off, but the interior, yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, there's been a few additions to, in general, like the extension of the counter, the bar, and then the increase of size of the stage. But I really like the look of it from the exterior, just because there's so much more frontage for both the pizzeria and the jazz club. So as we all know, above the pizzeria is actually a tailor, and that's why there is the purple door there. It matches the purple sign. And the tailor was pretty easy to expand. Just another set of windows was added to the build, and another column out front, and of course some more flowers. And then the interior details essentially just got doubled up. Added more fabric. Luckily I had some Technic pieces in my collection, so I was able to change up the colors of fabric back there, but there is 2, whatever you want to call it, spools or yards of red. A yard of fabric? I don't know. Just there's 2 things of red fabric there. Then there's 2 of the, what do you call them? Podiums? I can't remember. Oh man, whatever. I'm drawing a blank right now. It is what it is. And then there's 2 sewing machines. I figured I may as well just duplicate these details just because they look so good. Like, this is such a cool sewing machine. And now this tailor has 2 of them, and he has way more fabric. So he's increased his square footage and then increased his workspace as well. And of course, that's going to sit right on top of the pizzeria like that. And you can see that the additional studs that were added to this front look really good. And I'm actually really happy that I decided to stick with the original. I love the fact that this actually comes in a little bit. The reason I was able to do that with this one is because these 2 structures share a staircase. So because they share the staircase, what was that? Oh, my desk is a mess. Oh my gosh. It has been a day of building, and I had to cannibalize some other stuff in order to get these gray tiles. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on. But yeah, because these 2 structures, the jazz club, the pizzeria, and the tailor, share the same staircase, I was able to give more interior space to the actual builds within, and that really worked out. I love the fact that the nougat brick and masonry brick runs up the side there, and that is like the smokestack or the chimney for the wood-burning stove, and that pops up right beside the greenhouse, which is identical to the original. So the roof is pretty much the same, however it was expanded to accommodate the size difference. And then a couple planters have been added outside of that greenhouse just to consume the additional space on the roof. So the second and third floor was a little bit more challenging than the first floor, but the Lego math that we talked about earlier, the 10 studs, so that's 5 on either side, 4 for the window and 1 for the window spacing, worked out just perfectly. However, there was one slight challenge. Here you can see those brackets are all light gray now, rather than having some dark red in there. That's because I don't have any of the dark red downward facing brackets right there. Because in order to frame those windows properly, you need some of the downward ones and some of the upward ones. So I decided to change the sort of pillar between the 2 windows to all light gray brackets, and it worked out. I think it works perfectly because there's this like light gray line that runs through the whole building, and then it sort of goes around the windows, and then it's all light gray in the center. So that really worked out. It was a challenge that I was like, oh, that's not good. I don't have any of those dark red brackets downward facing, and there's no such thing as a Lego part that's like a double-sided bracket. I think that would be so cool. For example, if this bracket went up that way and it went up on the other side, I think that'd be a really neat piece, but there's no such thing as that. So I had to use the upward and downward bracket between the windows, but it really worked out well. So this whole thing had to be rebuilt because this wall was in the wrong position. I wanted to give more space to the manager's office, so this whole wall had to be moved. And I added some interior detail here, nothing too crazy. The wall moved, and then there's 2 chairs there. Just built those using some brackets and some standard chairs. The balcony on the back side is larger now. This area rug is a little bit larger, just 1 stud. And then inside here, there's a couch that was added. Also a planter in the corner. That lamp actually came from the tailor's office or tailor's workshop, whatever you want to call it. And then all of this right here is the same. I didn't want to put anything else right there because A, they have to walk through there, and B, people want to stand there and look down and see the jazz like band, right? So yeah, that's the second floor. And then of course, this door right here, the purple door or lavender door, leads into the tailor's work area. And I think that looks pretty good. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that this whole module right here did not have to change. That literally just popped in there and it was perfect, just because the math of all of this just worked out so beautifully for 1.5 base plates. It was actually magical. This pretty much all the same, right? Yeah, it's just perfect. Like this didn't have to change. The center sort of inlet there. The only thing that had to change was the addition of a window on each side. But that didn't mean that it was just as easy as doubling it. Everything had to be like surgeried and rebuilt. So up here, nothing too crazy. The stairs come up. There's a little railing there. The door leads onto the rooftop there where we have the garden and the greenhouse. Little area rug there. There's a ladder that's mounted to the wall because there's roof access. Built one more little desk there. That's the original desk, the original couch. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I think the main focus was the exterior, just doubling up the exterior with a few additions. And then of course we have the roof right here. And there is that roof access, which will line up perfectly with this door. So you can pop this door open, line up perfectly with that ladder. And then it's just the roof. Just this design had to be, once again, just duplicated on either side. And just the plates had to be reconfigured so that it actually covered the top floor. So there we go. We have the doubled up jazz club. There's just so much more frontage. I think it looks a lot better. These buildings look a lot more substantial. And I think this is how it should be. Once again, 18 studs for the pizzeria and Taylor and 30 studs for the jazz club. And it just worked out like so perfectly. It was honestly so easy to do. Did I need to get 2 sets? Probably not. There's a lot of leftover parts over here, like a ton of leftover parts. Luckily for me, I'm always building stuff, so I don't mind having more windows and more dark red corner bricks. And you can never have enough of these tiles and these bricks. I really don't mind having the additional pieces in the inventory. It's not the end of the world. With that said, did you need to get 2 of them? Maybe, because there's some scarce pieces in here. I know there's a lot of waste, but I think those pieces will come in handy later, and I think this is going to look phenomenal when it's placed in the Lego City. With that said, my Lego City is like a bomb went off right now because I've been working on some stuff behind the scenes, specifically this that had to be cannibalized. So in my next update, I'm going to be fixing that. I'm going to be fixing up my Lego City because I recently added bicycle lanes and those are still being worked on. And I'm going to place this and take care of some other changes as well. So make sure you stay tuned for that update. But there we go. That is my doubled up jazz club. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it turned out better than I originally anticipated. And actually it was easier than I originally anticipated. But if it weren't for that perfect math, it would make it a little more challenging. And the 1.5 base plates was just a beautiful change. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on by. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff, and have yourselves a fantastic day. Farewell.